Gina's, like, canonically gay. Like, not canonically, but, like...
The actress is.
Yes, the actress is, but, like...
The actress is canonically gay in real life. In canon, the actress is gay.
Please like this. Please like this. Please like this.
Welcome to Please Like This, a podcast where two best friends share the pop culture we love that the other one never got around to. I'm Valentina.
And I'm Mark.
Today we're discussing Season 1 of The West Wing, a show about competent people trying to do politics while walking fast. And this is my pick, and to discuss this very special TV show, we're bringing in our official West Wing correspondent, president of the Josh Lyman fan club, and our good friend, Aimee Sinclair. She is also a writer and host of the Talking to a Wall podcast. Welcome, Aimee.
Oh.
Hello.
Hi.
I'm here.
Yeah. How are you? We've been talking about doing this for quite a while, and
by talking, I mean Aimee has been trying to make me specifically watch The West Wing for years.
I don't know that I've been trying to get you to watch The West Wing. I think every single time I've tried to get you to watch The West Wing, I preface with you might not like it. And also maybe don't watch it because you're not going to like it.
Yeah.
But please watch it because I want everybody to love it.
yeah.
I just had a realization.
Oh, what?
Valentina, I think our friendship started when I watched The West Wing. I think that was when our friendship started.
The moment.
I think that's what caused
I
our
recommended
friendship.
this good show, and you were like, "Oh no, okay, now I can be friends with her." After months of me thinking that we were friends.
Very possibly, yes. I'm so sorry.
Okay.
I mean, we can discuss it if we want.
Yeah. Well.
I'm not sure of the timeline. I have no memory of anything ever, but I feel like that was when the first time that I was like, oh, Valentina, you're my friend.
Okay.
Who I love.
You would see Valentina at an event and be like, I just watched this.
I texted you. That was like the first time I ever like was texting you. Like I never like went out of my way to talk to you. Like I meant like
Okay.
if we weren't at an event together, I wasn't like, you know, we weren't talking that much.
Yeah, we talked like at events and like group settings and stuff, and sometimes like if we were alone in the same room, we would talk and stuff. But like we didn't text.
Right.
We probably like
that's what
messaged
like,
on Facebook and like group chats and stuff, but not like.
That's what I'm saying. I think West Wing is the thing that connected us.
I remember you giving me updates like you are now because you're watching Gilmore Girls.
Yeah.
I guess since this is my pick, and I guess the what is it, like the impetus on everybody else in this episode watching this show?
Yeah. You're
Did
the
I use that word
Kickstarter.
correctly?
Catalyst.
The catalyst. Thank you. I guess I'll discuss a little bit of my background with the West Wing. In high school, I started watching The Newsroom when it was on in like, what was it, like 2011, 2012, 2013, I think. And I fell in love with it for the first 2 seasons, and then there was a big gap between the second and third where people thought that it was going to be canceled. And it probably should have been, to be honest.
Yes.
But I loved the show so much, and then that was also kind of like my peak on Tumblr. And of course that's going to come into this.
Yeah.
And I would like see people posting gifs of the West Wing and being like, if you like The Newsroom, watch the West Wing because it's from the same guy. It's created by Aaron Sorkin. So I did. And I had previously already seen The American President in class in like my 9th grade AP politics class, and fell in love with that movie, thought it was brilliant. And when I found out that like the same guy wrote all of these things, I was like, oh my god, what? I didn't have Netflix at the time or anything, so I would start watching it from like illegal streaming sites and stuff, and then
Valentina, shut up. Valentina, don't tell
They're
them.
gonna find you.
No.
I don't do it anymore because I have money to pay for things, but I was...
That's the rule about crime. If you don't do it anymore, you don't get punished.
Whatever.
Yeah.
But I had like a mutual friend that he needed help in his history class because he was like failing his history class and it was online. And so
Valentina,
I ended up...
Valentina,
What?
I don't think that's called a friendship. I think you were his tutor.
Yeah, that's why I say, like, we were in a friend group that would
You were in a
hang out.
symbiotic relationship.
Okay. But, so I would...
And you were technically paid.
No, I was not paid. That's the thing. That I took a couple of his tests for him in his online history class.
Valentina,
Again,
you're
it's gonna find you.
Yeah,
admitting
and
to so
in
many
return-
crimes.
And in return, he gave me his Netflix login. And so I started watching The West Wing through this. Yeah, I'm not even kidding.
That's so funny that you were paid and
I've heard this
login.
story before.
I
I don't
have
know.
not.
I don't remember when I heard the story. I think you might have told me it when you were telling me to watch The West Wing.
Really.
That sounds accurate. I've never wanted to hear this story.
I did that a few times. I took class tests for people a few times.
Again, you're admitting to
It
more
was fun.
crimes.
It was
Valentina,
fun for
FBI.
me.
they're gonna take away your high school diploma.
But so yeah, that's how I started watching The West Wing. So when I was a kid, I wanted to be a writer when I grew up. And then when I started watching Gilmore Girls when I was like 8, I wanted to be a journalist when I grew up. And then in high school, I started to want to be a political journalist before watching The West Wing. And then watching The West Wing was like, oh no, I really want to be in politics. And then I got into college and was like, oh no, journalism's not for me at all. I actually want to be a director.
Yeah.
And now the past 2 or so years where I've been working in news has, one, really solidified the fact that I do not want to be a journalist at all. And 2, has made me so, like, disillusioned with politics, like, going to work every day and, like, covering this awful state that we are in politically. And it's not a political podcast, but, like, whatever. But it's just been, like, such a large presence in my life that I have been, like, avoiding it outside of work so much. So, like, the past 2 years or so, I have really not been watching The West Wing a lot. And this was the first time, I think, since I started working in news full time, that I've watched multiple episodes continuously of The West Wing. I've, like, dipped in here and there and watched, like, my favorite episodes and watched, like, I think Aimee and I did a call once where we were like, let's watch 2 episodes of The West Wing together. Yeah. And, like, done that type of thing. Like, I'm gonna watch this specific 4-episode arc or whatever. But I haven't watched, like, a season in quite some time. And so watching this again was, like, a very welcome return. And we should say, this is going to be released, I think, the day after Joe Biden's inauguration.
Aww.
And we're recording this.
Cry.
Yeah. We're recording this about almost 2 weeks out from him officially being called the president-elect. Yeah. And I'm telling you guys, like, there has been such a weight lifted at work that, like, we don't have the stupid, like, we're not gonna have this stupid guy, like, on TV as much anymore. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so, like, I have been looking for a lot of escapist media and stuff, and West Wing has not been one of those things for me recently. Yeah. But now it is again. And I don't know, it's just been, like, a glorious feeling.
Return to this series.
Yeah, that I can, like, enjoy the things that I love again.
Yeah.
And yeah. So that's my experience with The West Wing.
Yeah. And my experience with this show is that these two, more specifically Aimee, have been trying to get me to watch this show for years now.
Yeah.
And I don't know what it is about me. I don't know what it is in my bones. But when someone is, like, really pushing me to do something, to, like, watch something, I, like, shut down. Yeah. But I don't know what it, I genuinely, I don't know what it is about, and it's not all the time. It's like, it's with specific things. And for whatever reason, when Aimee was trying to force The West Wing on me,
Okay.
No, I'm leaving that terminology in. Aimee, I just like shut down about it and was like, no. And I definitely have made fun of Aimee a lot.
Oh yeah. Well, I
made
mean,
several jokes.
Aimee will probably discuss this a little bit more, but like Amy's obsession with the West Wing is something else.
Yeah.
I don't think I have never
the president
gotten
of the Josh Lyman fan club.
Yeah, like I have never gotten to the point that Aimee is at.
So I watched this show for the first time. I did actually go in with an open mind and like was like it was also helpful that I think part of this show is being helpful. Part of this show being helpful for me watching stuff is like I'm paying attention.
Mm-hmm.
And
you know we're gonna discuss it.
Yes, and I think when I tried to watch Gilmore Girls, I often got like distracted by stuff, was doing other things. I wasn't really watching Gilmore Girls, and so when I was really watching West Wing, and I liked it. I have opinions, but I enjoyed it, and I think it's a good show.
Good, that's great.
Good.
Yeah.
I love that. Okay, so Aimee, do you want to
Yeah.
get into your background with this show?
So, the first time I ever heard about West Wing was when my English teacher, who I loved and very much wanted to impress, mentioned the West Wing and was like, "Has anybody seen it?" And I was like, "Yes." I had not seen it.
That's
lied.
when I
you just
lied
straight up
about
lied?
watching
I straight up
Mr.
lied.
and Mrs. Smith in third grade.
Except for this was junior year of high school.
Yeah. I was 8 when I did that, so.
I was 17 or 16. But I knew that it was a show about politics. All right, after I lied, I proceeded to look it up.
Good.
And then I was like, what is it? And then I was like, oh my God, I would love this show. And then I never watched it.
Ever?
I didn't watch it forever. And people kept telling me, like, I should watch this. You'd love it. Like, politics has been a big thing for me since I was 10 years old. Grew up in a household watching CNN every day, every night. And so everyone thought I should watch it. And then I just kept... I think I almost had the similar thing that you did, Mark, where I was like, I don't want to watch it because everyone's telling me to.
Yeah.
Until I watched The Newsroom.
Really? Both of you got into Aaron Sorkin through The Newsroom.
But also I had watched The American President. It was my mom's favorite movie, and I had a thing
really?
about it was my mom's favorite movie. So I watched The Newsroom, and Valentina was like, "Well, if you like The Newsroom, you're gonna like The West Wing." And I was finally like, "All right, I finished The Newsroom. I don't know what to do." I'm like, when I finish things that I watch, I tend to get like kind of sad and like empty, and then I'm like, "What do I do?" And I can't watch anything else for a little while, and so it took me a little while. And then in October of 2016, I just watched it. And I watched the first 9 episodes, kind of like, I don't know if this is for me. I just felt kind of on the outside of it. It just didn't feel like, I didn't connect to it immediately. And so I was considering stopping watching. And then we got to episode 10, and I fell in love. And I think that's when I texted Valentina and was like, "Oh my God, the show's amazing."
Oh no, you didn't just text me. You like, we should say episode 10 is In Excelsis Deo, which is focuses on Toby Ziegler, and like it's the Christmas episode of the season 1.
And I imagine we'll talk about it more, but
yeah, but like I just remember you coming up to me like kind of out of nowhere and being like, "Valentina, I love this show now. Like, thank you." Like, I don't know if you were thanking me, but you were like gushing about it. And yeah, I would say that's probably like where we started to become close.
Yeah. And so I like specifically remember like before I watched The West Wing, I was kind of feeling aimless in terms of like career moves. I had just changed my major to telecom production, but I wasn't sure that I could do television writing. I had always wanted to be a writer, but I wasn't sure if I was capable of doing television writing. I'd only ever thought of myself as doing fantasy novels. So watching The West Wing, though, I like fell in love with the idea of TV writing and was like, I can do this. This is what I want to do. So it was a huge thing for me. And like, it definitely became like a hyperfixation, but it's a hyperfixation that has lasted. And I think honestly it is the thing that
definitely
got
has.
me through the Trump presidency, which is interesting because like you avoided it because of that. But like I needed that idealism and I needed to believe that people were good, and that is my relationship with the West Wing.
So, though Aimee and I have both seen the entire show multiple times, Aimee more than I, we, for the purposes of this podcast, we are only covering season 1. Maybe in a future episode we'll cover more of it. I kind of doubt it. I don't know.
I'd like to say now that I watched all of season 1, but then season 1 ends on a cliffhanger, so I did watch the first 2 episodes of season 2.
Oh,
That
see,
makes
I
me
was
so
being
happy.
disciplined and not watching season 2.
I was so wondering if you were gonna go on to see what happened.
I did, because I was like, well, now I gotta know
Yeah.
who died.
Yeah.
And the answer is people.
Marcy.
No spoiler. Marcy.
No, what's her name?
Mandy.
Mandy.
Oh man.
No, Mandy didn't die. She just went off to Mandyville and disappeared. It's fine. She's
She
living
was-
a happy life.
She was killed and no one cared.
The West Wing is a show about the senior staff of the president in the West Wing of the White House, of course. And so the season 1 opens with the staff halfway through the first year of the Bartlett's presidency. He's a first-term president, and the whole season is kind of about them establishing themselves and like finding their feet in the White House. And there's multiple episodes where they have this conflict of like, we want to actually make change, but we know that it's not really gonna get us reelected necessarily if we do try hard to make this change. So we're just having like exploratory meetings and whatever, and then nothing ever comes of it until, what is it, episode 18, 19? 19, Let Bartlett Be Bartlett, where they
Let Bartlett be
decide,
Bartlett.
Yeah, they decide, no, like, we're actually gonna do the things that we set out to do during the campaign and everything. And then the season ends with a cliffhanger. President Bartlett is speaking at this town hall
At a college.
This
At a
town
with
hall
a college with a bunch of
specifically
students.
geared to like college students and stuff in DC. And as they leave the venue, there's a shooting, and we don't know who is shot. We don't know if anybody is if anybody is killed.
I think it ends with "Who's down? Who's down?"
And it's exhilarating.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, it's exciting.
Yeah.
It's very
It's
very
different for the West Wing, but it's good.
yeah. The show was created obviously by Aaron Sorkin and John Wells. Aaron Sorkin, we said, like, also created the Newsroom, Studio 60, previously Sports Night.
Studio 60.
I know. Well, so this season of The West Wing was airing at the same time as season 2 of Sports Night. That Sports Night was airing on ABC and this was airing on NBC.
He
And
was trying to write both shows all by himself at once.
yes, most episodes, if you know anything about Aaron Sorkin, he was a drug addict and he was writing a lot, and so he was writing almost every episode of this show and almost every episode of Sports Night, and then he
that
left.
makes sense.
Yeah, and so he left
the pace of the show.
Yeah.
He left the show. He and John Wells both left. No,
John Wells.
he and
stayed.
Tommy Schlamme.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, that's Tommy Schlamme. He
Tommy
directed
Schlamme
many
is-
episodes.
Yeah, he
Of the
was
West
the
He was an executive producer, I believe.
an executive producer. I think a co-creator
Okay.
as well.
That sounds like
Director of most of the show.
fake joke name.
I
I
know.
know.
Yeah, so
Tommy Schlamme.
I know. He and Aaron Sorkin left the show at the end of season 4, and then the show continued for 3 more seasons with
John Wells.
different showrunner and a almost new writer's room, but John Wells stayed on board.
And Eli Addy. Yeah.
And Eli Addy, yeah. And yeah, so it was on air on NBC from 1999 to 2006.
I feel, and also I don't know much about Aaron Sorkin. This is maybe one of 2 things I've seen of him.
I think Aimee and I are both very into Aaron Sorkin, or at least I am very much into Aaron Sorkin.
And I feel like this show is like his calling card.
Yes.
Yeah, it is
like,
definitely his,
if you're talking about Aaron
not to
Sorkin,
use
you're talking
this
about
phrase, but
this.
magnum opus.
Yeah, like if you're talking about Aaron Sorkin, you're talking about this and The Social Network
Yeah.
Yeah.
as his like two main things, and that's a movie. This is just a much more.
Yeah. Well, of the
Much
four
more stuff.
of the 4 TV shows that he's done, this is definitely his most one watched show, both at the time and since, most like well regarded show, and also the longest running.
Yeah.
Most successful.
Yeah, just most successful in every regard.
Yeah.
So we will not be discussing any spoilers past season 2, except for the fact that during season 1 we have a main character named Mandy, who played by Moira Kelly, who just disappears
Which
at
is
the
the thing
beginning
that
of season
happens
2.
in the Sorkin universe.
Yeah, it just happens. It's not ever explained.
And
Don't
it's probably
worry
for
about
the
it.
best.
Yeah,
Definitely.
Because she's, I know Amy, you've talked about like that character has been perceived as really annoying. I wasn't annoyed by her. I just felt like this show didn't care about her.
Yeah.
And by the end of, and by like halfway through season 1, it was like, why are you here?
Yeah.
You're not adding anything.
Well, I think the thing is that like she is kind of the audience surrogate to the show, that like she's the one she's the character brought into to the main group in the pilot episode.
Yeah.
So she's the one that we can like be introduced to these characters through and stuff, even though she already knew them.
Yeah.
And so there was always a sense of like Mandy is kind of on the outskirts of the group. She's not in the main, like she's not in the crowd with them.
And they don't give her any friends to
Yeah.
show that she can be likable.
Yeah, and she's also oftentimes the like catalyst for like disagreement, and like she I think she gets stuck with like being kind of superficial, whereas we get to see Toby and Josh be like these heroes, and where she's just like this person of like
she has to be
image.
like, get a panda. Get a
Yeah.
panda from China.
Yeah.
When everyone else is talking about like up the plane just crashed and we have to
Yeah.
get, you know what I mean? Like she's just,
Because she's literally like, she is the political consultant.
Yeah.
And so she's only worried about the image, like how things are going to be perceived in like a public relations
The decorations
manner.
clash with the Dickensian costumes.
Yes. And so like, because like her character was created in that way, there was never going to be, I think, any way for her to fully mesh with the rest of the group, which is why it feels so disjointed. Like there's quite a few moments where she feels like she's in a different show than the rest of the group.
Yeah. I also think an
And-
issue is the fact that Sorkin isn't great at writing women, and I think he's not great at distinguishing between spunky and unlikable.
yeah.
See, that's the thing that, like, a lot of people say that it's, like, the Mandy issue is just, like, Sorkin's bad at writing women. I really don't think that
I
is
don't
the
think it's
main
just
thing
that.
with it.
I don't think it's the main thing, but I do think it's part of it.
Yeah, I think that's, like, the underlying issue, but, like, CJ and Donna are great, and, like, I mean, there's obviously some
Issues with Donna.
moments. Yes, but, like, they are both women, and he still wrote them, so, like, I really don't think that the issue with Mandy was that she was a woman. It was that, like, she was meant to be on the outside, and they just had trouble, like, fitting her into the group.
Well,
and so it was just better to get rid of her.
She was the only character that by the end of the season, I was like, you don't add anything to this show.
yeah.
That's like the main. I think that's the main problem with her, because all of these characters in some form have had a writing problem.
Yeah.
A problem where like the writing is weird for them, or unkind, or maybe out of character.
Yeah.
But I feel like with her, she just didn't have anything important to do or say, and she wasn't funny enough to get away with that stuff.
Which, like, that's why Donna works, is because she's funny.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing too, that she's supposed to be like Josh's ex-girlfriend and stuff. So they're supposed to have this kind of will
Sam
they,
and
won't they
Diane.
again. Yeah. They're supposed to have this relationship, like, they're supposed to be the romantic relationship that
Yeah.
we're rooting for in the show, and that is quickly replaced by Josh and
Janelle
Donna.
Maloney's brilliance.
Josh and Donna.
And
because,
Joey Lucas.
yes, and Joey Lucas
Oh, yeah,
played by
Joey
Marley
Lucas as
Matlin.
well, yeah.
I love her.
I love Marley Matlin. Honestly, if you had told me that Marley Matlin was in this show, I may have watched it sooner.
Really?
She's great in it. She's very funny.
Yeah, so Mark, do you want to just, like, shout out kind of your favorite characters or which characters stood out to you?
When I gotta say that when I for the first 4 episodes, I was kind of like, oh no, about this show. I find a lot of men very annoying,
Same.
and I found most of these men very annoying, and I think I have a problem. I think I have a problem with people who are, like, willfully ignorant so that they don't have to compromise their morals.
Yeah.
So, who are you talking about?
Toby?
Well, everyone does it this show,
Yeah.
but I was specifically talking about Sam
Oh.
and Josh at points, and no, Josh does it a lot,
We'll talk
and
about it.
Toby does it too. But it felt like the show that was the point of Toby, so I was more okay with it being Toby.
Okay.
But with, like, Josh and Sam did it, I was like, and that happened a lot in the first couple of episodes, where, I mean, Josh
Yeah.
is, like, kind of sexist to CJ in the second episode and basically calls
No,
her like
absolutely.
an old shrew.
Yeah. No, we'll
It
talk
happens
about
a
it.
few times.
Yeah,
There's definitely an issue with Josh.
yeah, and also just like the storyline with Lori, who
Yeah.
she's a call girl, who Sam Seaborn, who is one of the president's speech writers. What's his official position?
Deputy Communications Director.
Deputy Communications Director, played by Rob Lowe, and he has to know that he befriending a call girl will look bad on the White
Yeah.
House. It's like it's 1998 or whatever, 1999, and he has to know, but he just throws caution to the wind and, like, does all this stuff. And I didn't like when he was like, "What do you mean?"
Yeah.
And it's like, you know what you mean. And this conversation is uninteresting to me and annoying.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that goes down. And that stuff starts to go away. And the show didn't really crystallize to me until episode 7, where it's the state dinner. The state dinner episode. It's the first episode that's the state dinner. The first lady finally makes her first appearance.
Played by Stalker Channing.
Played by Stalker
We'll talk
Channing,
about
who is
that.
incredible.
Yes.
And that was the first episode where it felt like, okay, I have a grasp on all these characters. They're all working at the levels that I think they're supposed to be working at, or the writing wants you to think they're working at. And all of the storylines of the episode build together and come together in the end for a satisfying conclusion, even if it's not like a happy one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
You asked me about characters, and I completely changed the subject to just talking about when the show started working for me. But
no, I mean, that honestly, that should have been the question. But I don't think the pilot is honestly the best introduction to the show. At least, like, when I showed our mutual friend, I specifically chose episode 3, A Proportional Response, as the entry point. And I think there's quite a few other great entry points that are not the pilot. And I think the state dinner is also one of them.
I would argue, although I'm not a huge fan of this episode, I do think it's a good entry point. Crackpots and These Women.
Yeah,
I think that's a good. I think, and also I might just have a special place in my heart for that, because it's like a performance that I'll never forget from Bradley Whitford. I think it's really compelling, even though Mark might not agree with me.
Well, also, I think that's if Mark does not agree, it's the episode where Josh gets the card telling him.
Josh gets the nuclear card.
Yeah.
That if there's a new, I thought that was a good performance. I thought no, that's also when Josh started working to me as a character.
That's
Yeah.
when he's supposed to start. That's my whole thing. So it's like, I didn't like Josh either until that episode. And then I think that's when I think that's when I fell in love with him, because I was like, oh, he's not just he's not. You see that he has layers, and he's not. He's complicated.
The elephant in the room, Aimee.
Oh yeah, do we want to discuss this now, or do we want to...
Aimee, I mean,
we said president of the Josh Lyman fan club as a joke, but like, it's very real.
Yeah, I really love Josh Lyman. I mean, I genuinely do think, and I know we're not going to talk about the show after a certain point, but he does kind of become the main character.
Oh, I agree.
If there's a main character.
He is by the end of the series.
Especially
How do you know that, Mark?
Oh, not series. I meant season.
Oh, no. The series, like, it veers into him being the main character.
I mean, like, this isn't spoilery, but...
Yeah.
But, like, Josh starts to officially be the main character in season 5 once Aaron Sorkin has stepped down.
Yeah.
And the show starts out very much as an ensemble, and throughout the first season we start to see like which characters work and which characters don't, and one of those characters obviously is Mandy, and one of that doesn't work, and so that's why she left. What?
I also think, to a certain degree, I think Sorkin kind of was writing Sam to be the main character. Like, he was expecting that. And then I think Bradley Whitford was just stronger in the Joshness of it all, because he is Josh.
I also genuinely think the Lori Callgirl storyline
absolutely
really hurt any chances for Sam Seaborn to be the main character, because
I find him annoying outside of the Lori storyline as well, but I understand that I am kind of alone in that.
You're not alone in that. I also find him annoying and plenty of times. I just think that Rob Lowe is genuinely a good actor in this role.
Oh, I think Rob Lowe's a good actor.
And,
don't get me wrong.
And, like, Sam, there's plenty of moments that I just, like, love Sam in season 1 especially. He's not my favorite character. I think almost every other member of the senior staff ranks above him, but he's still a strong character, except for Mandy.
Yeah. I was just going to talk about Mr. Willis of Ohio.
Okay, yeah.
Episode 6?
Yeah, episode 6. So for some reason, watching it this time, and just going to explain something really quick. I don't tend to get very emotional during shows. Even when I first watched The West Wing, second watch through, third watch through, I've watched this show a billion times, and I have never really gotten emotional about things outwardly. Like, I think I have, like, internal thoughts that are emotional, but I don't, like... I never get, like, choked up. But for some reason, watching Mr. Willis of Ohio, I got choked up. And it, like...
To the point where you texted me.
Yeah.
Wait, at what point in the episode?
When at the very end, when he votes, I, like, got choked up. Because I don't know why. It, like, hit me that, like...
Who votes?
Mr. Willis of Ohio.
What happens?
When Toby is watching the vote on TV, and...
He's
watching C-SPAN, and they're calling the names, and they
this is the episode. This is the episode where the
social studies teacher.
Yeah, the social studies teacher. His wife was a congresswoman, but she died, so he took over for her. And they're like, and the White House is trying to convince him to change his vote, and he does, because he's just like a genuinely good person and was listening and didn't want to play politics.
Yeah, they're talking about
That was a very good episode, I would say.
Yeah, they're talking about making changes to how the census is done.
Yeah.
And stuff.
I just found it very moving, and
That was beautiful.
I mean, it's funny that you specifically mentioned that episode, Mr. Willis of Ohio, which, like, that same moment... Well, one, you texted me when you were watching, like...
I texted you a different time. I got choked up twice this time.
Oh, wow. Okay, that's even more surprising.
I got choked up twice.
When I saw that text, it was like, wow.
Was, at the end of what kind of day has it been?
Okay. But, like, at that same point in Mr. Willis of Ohio, I'm always, like, tearing up.
Yeah.
Like, I've seen that episode more than half a dozen times, and I'm always tearing up at that moment. Do we want to talk more about the state dinner?
Sure.
I mean, we don't have to. That episode was when things crystallized for me. Mm-hmm. It was bringing in a character that I've been begging to see.
Did you know that it was Stockard Channing before she appeared?
Yes, you did, because I specifically
Yes.
texted you to watch a moment from season 5 when she walks in, and you did not have a reaction to that moment, and I have a huge reaction to that moment.
Wait, is it the one where like
She walks in during the shutdown, and she's like,
yeah.
"What are you doing, boys?"
That's from Grease.
it's very similar.
You know that's from Grease. But but yeah, they finally bring in this character that I've been begging for. Because even if it's not Stalker Channing, like I found it very weird that there was just like no.
First lady.
Yeah, and
There's
also
no
even
first
by
lady.
the end of
They've already introduced one of his daughters.
yes, and even I thought it was weird that they've mentioned several times in this season that he has other kids, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. He has
I
two
thought-
other daughters.
At the end of the season, I thought it was weird that we don't see either of them, or that they weren't even established. Like there was a couple things that I just found seemed like weird. Because I think about generally as a season is that when you hear the pitch of a show set in the White House with the senior staff,
Yeah.
this show does a very good job of showing you what you want to see. Like we're gonna see Air Force One, we're gonna see the offices, we're gonna find out more about their job descriptions, we're gonna see an assassination, Supreme Court, FEC, like it's showing you all of the possible things that a president has to deal with.
Okay.
And I thought that was very good. But sometimes what I thought was weird is I don't think they were showing me what I wanted to see from the characters. Like it was weird to me that almost none of these characters have like friends or family.
The staff, I feel like that feels very true to me. Like they don't. I feel like these people work tired. These people do not have family. Like these people do not have friends.
Leo literally gets divorced
yeah.
over the fact that he is so invested in this
And
job,
like that's
and,
like
that's
that's a
no
genuine thing
time
that
for his
happens in
wife.
real life.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
But I do agree that it's weird that we don't see the President Bartlett's family. That's the one, because like President Bartlett is a family man. He's introduced you as this guy who loves his grandkids.
And the family he has grandkids?
Yes.
Yeah,
We
in
don't
the
even
pilot,
see the grandkid.
we don't see them until season 5 again. But
Yeah.
like in the pilot, when he bursts into that meeting,
He's talking
and
about
he's
his
like
grandpa-
talking
her
about
granddaughter.
he
The
mentions
very special
the 10th
tomato.
commandment and stuff, and he he talks about his granddaughter.
And also, like, having a family is kind of part and parcel of being in the White House.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The family gets famous. The family
Well-
is doing stuff. They're a part of the package.
Yeah.
And they just, like, they were... Even the First Lady doesn't appear quite as much as I think she should.
Yeah.
Well, I think the family not necessarily being introduced as much is a relic of the fact that the president wasn't supposed to be such a large presence in the show, and he wasn't supposed to be. He was supposed to just be like pop in and out like he does at the end of the pilot, and that's it.
Yeah.
But the concept of this show came from John Wells liking the American president. Aaron Sorkin wrote The American President, which is about a single man who is a president, the only time that has ever happened, and his daughter, his like teenage daughter, who is in the show and in the movie and stuff. And then like the concept of the show came from, I really like that movie, but obviously you can't do a rom-com between the president and a lobbyist for a TV show, so let's instead focus on the senior staff of the president, who like Martin Sheen was the chief of staff in the movie to Michael Douglas's president. And so I think like that the lack of the president's family in in season 1 of the show is part of that reaction to, or like trying to get away from the American president.
Yeah.
From Sorkin. And like Zoe is only in it so much because she has this relationship with Charlie, and because she is literally living half an hour away from the White House or whatever at Georgetown.
Yeah, she's not out and about. She's not...
Yeah, the other two daughters they're introduced much later, but like they're both grown adults and stuff working, and they do not live in Virginia. They do not. I don't even think they live in the East
No, I think
Coast.
Ellie does, because Ellie goes to John Hopkins.
Oh, okay.
That's one of the things that he says, like,
Right.
Sorry, yeah, you don't need,
That like, yeah. And Bartlett is so adamant that, like, my family is not the story. Like, I made this choice. Of course, they're part of it, but they're not going to be covered in the same way that I'm the one who made myself a public figure. They're kind of made public figures accidentally because of me.
Here's my, like, reasoning why I'm okay with it. I think The West Wing is an idealized show. These people are idealized. The press is also idealized. The press in reality does not leave the family alone. In this world of The West Wing, they do leave the family alone in large part. The press is very respectful of that.
Yeah. I think the ideal, honestly, because I had a strange experience for this show because I started watching it pre the election.
Yeah.
The optimism of this show.
Yeah.
I found myself, in episode 3 I wrote down, I think I just spit on optimism now. Because I've just been so...
Yeah, this is it. The past 4 years have been a time for cynicism.
Yeah, and so I watched episode 7 and things really crystallized to me before the election, but I think I was much more willing to get in on the optimism in the last half of the season because I was in a different place.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
More like the place that I was in.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Let's do what's your favorite and what you think the strongest episode is. This viewing.
Okay.
My favorite episode, I think, was the State of the Union. Was the State Dinner. The State Dinner, episode 7. But I do genuinely think that the strongest episode was the last episode 22. What kind of day has it been? Mm-hmm. Because that was like, I mean, that intro. What is maybe like this is the strongest.
What is the intro, Mark? How does the intro start? The episode starts in media res.
Ah! Oh!
It's taken us how many episodes have we recorded, and that
to finally do something
like,
that
made sense.
That starts in the middle of the action in media res.
Yes.
The grin media res begin. The in media res beginning is, I think, maybe the strongest couple of minutes in this season.
Yeah.
You were on board. You're like, what's happening? Where are we? And it's a shift, but it's not a crazy one. You kind of understand what's happening. And then the ending where that bodyguard who I loved.
Gina Toscano.
I
love her so much.
Her. And I thought she and CJ should have gotten together based on the chemistry in their one scene.
That is not a ship.
Take.
That is not a ship yet, but all right.
They had one scene. They had a single scene together.
I wholeheartedly agree with you, Mark.
Yeah, and I was like, they have chemistry.
Yeah. I think Gina's, like, canonically gay. Like, not canonically, but, like...
The actress is.
Yes, the actress is, but, like...
The actress is canonically gay in real life.
Well, no,
in canon, the actress is gay.
Character is agreed to also be gay.
I mean, no one knows. Anyway, I think that, and when she is, like, putting the pieces together and seeing that there is about to be an assassination attempt and she's figuring it out, and you see the terror, but also her mind working because this is her job. And then the hard cut into the intro was so... I was in.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's the strongest 3 minutes in the show.
No, agreed.
In the first season.
I mean, my answers to the question are the same, I think. Where I think I do think the strongest episodes are a tie between, or not, no. I think it's like, what kind of day has it been? And then a little bit below is Let Bartlett Be Bartlett.
I actively dislike that episode.
Really?
I didn't like it.
Why?
I thought it was messy.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. For whatever reason,
I think that's like the episode that culminates all of the threads that have been drawn through the first season.
I think it is
the
the
pieces aren't coming
thesis
together
of the season. I don't necessarily think it's the strongest episode. It's not one of my favorites either. I mean, I like it.
No.
I just don't think that it's the strongest for me.
Okay.
I think I didn't like it because I liked the ending. I thought the plot the plot points in that episode didn't fully work together for me.
Yeah.
Okay.
And another thing I think is that FEC appointments wouldn't make you go up 9 points in job approval.
No.
Yeah.
I thought that was like, I mean, I'm happy it did, and in that universe, sure. But that stretched the...
Yeah, no, nobody cares about the FEC.
No one cares about the FEC.
Well, I think it might have been more like a shift in like their... Because he gave like a speech, right?
Mm-hmm.
He gave a speech.
Oh, maybe.
And I think the speech is what changed public... Because I feel like they had almost been like hesitant to put him out there before. And let Bartlett be Bartlett. They're like, we're going to put him out there. He's going to be the person that he's meant to be. And I think that speech is what turns public approval, not the FEC appointments.
My favorites are the state dinner, because I think that's an episode that is a perfect entryway, of course, but also it's an episode where I think this show at its core is about, like I said in the intro, like it's about competent people trying to do politics, right? And we're seeing them work at it and stuff. And in the state dinner, almost every single character that we have kind of grown to at least like a little bit by that point is failing. They all mess up. Mandy messes up big time with the FBI
Memo.
raid thing. What?
Yeah.
Oh, never mind. Sorry. I was still on the other episode. Continue.
Oh, no. Yeah, the FBI raid, she messes up. Then Donna messes up with the interpreter and stuff. Sam is messing up because he's letting his personal life get in the way of his political life and stuff and his job.
Toby messes up also in that interpreter thing.
Toby also messes up
with the
because
speech and yeah.
Yeah, like he
because he let his morals be the deciding factor and was refusing to compromise.
Almost, and that's also CJ says something wrong, right?
Oof, don't remember CJ in that episode.
No, CJ I think is still recovering from a proportional response where she ridiculed she didn't lie. She was lied to.
She was lied to by Leo.
And
which
she
caused her to
the press corps and stuff. But yes, I think that's like an episode that it's very important to see that these people are people, and like these people are all trying to do these great things, and often they fail, and so they see like, what is the point, why am I still doing this and stuff. And that's like what the president's arc is in that episode. Like, what's the point of me being president if I can't fix these problems, these big problems affecting the country? And so that's why he stays on the phone with that one
the sailor
sailor and stuff in
at the
the
end,
hurricane.
Because
that's the thing with Josh, that he messes up with the hurricane and stuff.
Yeah.
And yeah, so like it I think it's very important to see our characters mess up and like to see the humanity and stuff, and that's why that episode hits so hard for me.
So my favorite, In Excelsis Deo, it's my favorite.
So it's still your favorite?
Yes, absolutely. It was never going to change. It's the episode that is just I don't know. I could watch that episode a million times. And it's not just because of Josh and Donna. We should, in addition to being the president of the Josh Lyman fan club, I am also an extreme Josh Donna shipper. I have written fan fiction. Please don't look it up.
Okay.
But I love this episode because first of all, it's the first hint that there is anything going on between the two of them. You do not in all of this season. There's not really Josh Donna. There's chemistry, but there's not like a relation.
I don't know. At one point, Donna mentions that Josh just shows up to her apartment drunk.
Yeah, that's like those are like the two moments in season 1. In Excelsis Deo, when Josh gives Donna the book, it is for me the most romantic thing, because she assumes that he is going to get her something totally impersonal, and she has to supply him with what to get her. He, in exchange, gets something that is pointless and kind of stupid and almost a joke gift, but then he writes this note that like makes her cry, and it's not a short note. Like, you can see that it's a long note, and I wish we knew what was in the note, but I kind of love that we don't know what's in the note. And I just, when he walks away and then he looks back, he like walks back out of his office to look at her, that moment makes my heart beat in triple time. And like, I just love it. I just love it. And then also, I love Toby. Toby is like my heart. Like, Toby's like, I love Josh Lyman because I'm attracted to him and I find him attractive. And
Same.
Toby, I feel like I connect with him on a lot of like levels. Like, he just like, I feel like if
He's the character you're most similar with.
He's the character I'm most similar to.
You're curmudgeonly, balding.
Yes. But you know, I love him a lot, and so that's a Toby episode, and also like I don't know, I just it really gets to me.
Won him an Emmy.
Yeah. So.
Oh, who's won Emmys for this?
Bradley Whitford, John Spencer, Richard Schiff. Has Allison Janney?
Yeah.
Allison Janney.
I think she won 2, right?
Yeah. 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 But my okay, wait. Can I move on to my strongest 2 episodes? I'll say this really quick.
Yes.
I'll say this really quick. I have 2 prongs. I have strongest in heart and strongest in structure. Strongest in structure, I feel like, is the state dinner. The state dinner is absolutely like it should be taught in film school, in screenwriting classes, because it's ABC plotline, ABCD technically, but ABC plotline, and it's just the act breaks are really good and whatever. So then Celestial Navigation is in heart, because I think this is not something that I said, something that Rishi said from the West Wing Weekly podcast. He tweeted it one time, and I'm paraphrasing because I remember nothing. He said, it's at its heart a situational workplace comedy about a family. Yeah. And I think that is really true for this, especially in Celestial Navigation. And so that's why I like Celestial Navigation so much. Because it's very funny, and it's very endearing, because you watch the characters fail. Mainly Josh.
Wait. Celestial Navigation or State Dinner?
Celestial Navigation.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Agreed. I love that episode.
Yeah.
I think just this time around, it didn't necessarily hit as hard, because I really think it's because like that's one of the episodes that I have seen multiple times in the past 2 years that I've like kind of taken this break from, but whatever, and like that I've pulled back on the show and stuff. And I hadn't seen The State Dinner in a long time. I hadn't seen Let Bartlett Be Bartlett. I had seen 5 Votes Down because I love that episode and I watch it a lot. But so like but the thing is too, like when I go to watch episodes from the show, I usually watch season 2.
Yeah.
When I first started watching the show, I thought that this season felt like the second season of a show.
Yeah.
It feels like a show that's already established.
After the first couple episodes?
Even the first episode, like the first.
Yeah. I think that's why I had a hard time getting into it, because you kind of feel external to everything.
And it also it feels like you're missing backstory.
Yeah, which is why season 2 is so important.
I mean,
because it gives backstory.
Yes, we do find out a lot more about the characters, including like we literally jump back in time to when they all joined the Bartlett campaign, and like flashbacks to that campaign, and like how this group bonded together and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, well, Aimee, you talked about your favorite characters.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, do you want to talk about yours, Mark?
I was gonna ask you, but I can talk about mine.
Oh, I mean, mine is Josh.
Really?
You haven't seen season 2, but yes, like.
Also season 6 and 7.
Yes, but I don't think I think it's more season 2.
Yeah.
3, and like my favorite episode is the Christmas episode of season 2 that focuses on Josh.
It is the strongest episode of The West Wing. That's my opinion.
Mine too.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's like not a controversial opinion.
I disagree.
Okay.
I agree. It's I don't know. But I do love Toby a lot. I love
Why is Josh your favorite character? Don't go into like events. Tell me like why
he's
in personal details. Why?
Intelligent, charming, smarmy, but not overtly.
I think part of his smarminess,
He's
part of the charmingness of his smarminess is that it is too overt. Like it's not. He doesn't believe any of the things he's saying, and I believe
that he's very much trying to like show off his masculinity and often failing at it.
Yeah. He's a walking human disaster, and that's part of his appeal.
Yeah.
Okay, Tumblr.
Fuck off.
Also,
because I didn't dislike Josh's character.
I don't think Josh is the best character in season 1.
No.
Okay, maybe that's it.
I think season 1, it's either Toby, CJ, or Leo.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll agree with that.
I love Bartlett a lot.
I was gonna say
Leo.
President Bartlett's my third. Actually, he's technically my second. Toby's my third, but whatever.
Really?
Yep.
So it's Josh, Bartlett,
Toby, Donna, CJ.
Okay. I think mine would be like Josh, CJ, Toby, Donna, Bartlett, maybe. I think. I don't know.
I just love Bartlett. I can't get enough of him. He's so great.
Yeah. But we also see the perfect amount of him that he's like not like if the show centered on just him, it would be awful.
Yeah.
It would be boring.
Yeah.
I don't have a ranking.
Well,
I
I
think-
don't expect you to.
Yeah, you've only seen one season.
Yeah, I was just disclaimer. But I think that the two characters that I enjoyed the most, or at least
Connected to?
connected to. I feel like maybe even did the best. They did the best job with them in a way that they, throughout the season, very rarely felt out of character. Was CJ and Leo.
Yeah.
And
I think they're the most defined in this season.
Yes, and I will say that CJ's my favorite. And at a certain point,
That's not surprising.
I gotta.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I had to be like, do I love CJ because I was already on board with her because it's Allison Janney.
Yeah.
I had to have that conversation in my head, and I decided that no, I genuinely think that CJ, even without Allison Janney elevating the character, I think I enjoy the way that I think she's the character that has the most growth in the first season.
Yeah.
And it's like a pretty, and it's subtle, but
And
it's
it's
a
going
clear
to be a
growth
theme
of-
in this show.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Good.
Don't
because
tell him too much.
That's not telling him too much.
Or teasing
That's
too
a
much.
theme.
Okay.
I liked how it starts, and even though she does seem competent, you can tell there's unsurety, and unsurety is not a word. Right?
Uncertainty.
No, it's not.
Uncertainty. There's unsuredom. She's unsure, and then she grows, and as she grows, she becomes like real smart. And
Okay,
she
Mark.
yells at people, and I like it. Okay, no, but like I think.
Why do you like Leo?
I was gonna say about CJ. She's also the character that proves herself the most. That she
Yes.
needs to prove herself at the most at the beginning, and then she does by the end.
Yeah. I thought that she seemed like a character who hadn't been on the campaign trail with them.
No, she did.
She was.
She was.
Yeah, I found that out because I watched the first two episodes of season 2.
Right.
And I thought that felt weird.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
thought it kind of undercut her character growth in season 1. that she's like not. And it's not even that she feels like outside. She just doesn't feel like she went through the same bonding that all those other people went on the campaign trail.
Yeah. Well, I think it's also
And that's why Leo didn't tell her that there was military operations going on because he didn't think to, because they didn't have that initial bond already. And then CJ came to Leo and came at him and corrected him, and then Leo respected her.
Yeah, I think she's the one. CJ is the character with the least political experience beforehand.
Yeah.
And campaigning for president and actually being the president are very different things. And like she has experience in public relations and like in publicity and stuff much more so than politics. And so I think like during the campaign, she could have still bonded with everybody and stuff on those like late night bus trips and whatever, but she wasn't in the policy meetings as much.
Well, also
just like this first season.
Yeah. Well, also I was gonna say like Toby and Leo clearly knew each other beforehand, and Sam and Josh knew each other beforehand, but CJ did not know people beforehand before the Barley campaign.
She knew Toby.
That's also true.
Oh, she did know Toby. I don't know what I'm talking about then. I'm wrong.
She knew Toby, but I don't think they were as close as any of the other pre-existing relationships in the show.
Yeah, but Leo and Toby weren't close.
Yeah, that's true.
No, but Leo and Josh were.
But anyway.
Yeah.
So that's why CJ's, but also, I mean, Allison Janney.
Allison
she's
Janney.
excellent, of course.
I mean, at one point she just it's in the second to last episode when she's talking to Danny about like how the other people in her office still blame her for the memo that got out, and there's just a singular line reading where she just says they don't say it. They don't say it. She says it in such a specific way that I was like, oh, I felt it of like it was the whole feeling. That was the entirety of the issue is like,
I mean, Allison Janney
I know,
is,
and I have to prove myself.
of course, an excellent actress and very good at expressing the unsaid
and carrying the insane physical comedy they keep giving exclusively her.
Yes, they do it because she's Allison Janney, I think.
Yeah.
But
The flamingo.
Well, they will give Josh some physical comedy as well.
I mean, he gets like some
yeah, he sits in not a chair, but
and also the coffee and stuff. Like there's plenty of moments that he has in this episode in this season as well. But like,
so I have a question for Mark. I knew you liked Leo because we talked about it a little bit beforehand. I have a question. What do you think about him in Lies, Damn Lies, and Statistics when he's intimidating that man? Was it charming or was it mean?
I at first didn't realize he was intimidating him.
Yeah.
And then
you thought it was just being nice.
Sometimes I know that I don't think you guys are often able to turn off your analytical brain as much as I am
watching reality TV.
Yeah, but like
but not during like this stuff.
I have never turned off my analytical brain, and that's not saying I'm smart. I'm an idiot.
It's just saying that you think too much sometimes.
Yeah, I think too much, which is why I don't respond outwardly. Back to that.
Yeah. So when that happened, my analytical brain was off, and I was just like, why is Leo doing that? And then also my brain gets distracted because the Marine he called in to do like the rifle dance ended in a fabulous pose. Mm-hmm. And I was like, why do all Marines pose like they just got finished at a disco? Like what is like what? And so I was a little discombobulated. So when he tries to after I realized like, oh, he was intimidating him. Yeah. I didn't think it was like a bad thing because it wasn't like he was intimidating him. He was like trying to charm him with like the shock and awe of being in the White House and of the presidency and of what it means to be in the West Wing. And so I didn't find it as like he's trying to intimidate him. He's like, because it wasn't being mean. He was giving this man an experience that he'll be able to talk about and tell his grandchildren, and they'll be like, oh,
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
My dad was in the president's office.
So there are some people in the fandom that think that he was being mean there. I find it incredibly charming, and I think it also speaks to his political brilliance. I think it's one of the not the first time. I think it's one of the first times you're shown and not told that Leo is politically brilliant. Like he is truly on a next level than everybody else politically.
Yeah. And I would like to say that there are times in this season where I do think that Leo is being rude.
Oh yeah.
Or like was actually, and even in that episode.
I mean, he's often short with other characters.
Yeah. Well, not even that. When he and Alice and Janney were butting heads, I thought Leo was very clearly in the wrong.
Yeah.
And
I think he knew it though.
Yes, but I was also annoyed that it didn't. That when Alice and Janney was like, and like part of it is also that I'm a woman. Yeah. He was like, no, it's not. Yeah. And it was like.
Yeah, he like brushes it off like so much that like
which
that
proves
also
it.
Yeah. Like it does obviously come into play, and like even if he won't admit it. She is the most senior woman in the White House. Yeah.
Yeah.
And also the face of the White House.
The face of the White House, yeah. And another note I had that I just thought kind of correlates with my like weirdness with the characters of Josh and Sam is that it doesn't make their backstories didn't make sense to me.
Which one?
Josh being in a frat and Rob Lowe being the one who was bullied in high school, but also loved sailing.
Yeah.
What I thought was strange was that it didn't track to me that Josh Lyman's character was in a fraternity in college.
I agree with that, actually.
And it didn't track to me that Sam Seaborn
was bullied.
Looking like Rob Lowe, but even not even just like the looking like, the way he acted was not the actions of a person who
had been bullied in high school and stuff.
Who had been bullied in high school.
I agree with both those things. It's not that will never, those two things will never come up again. So
okay, good, because it was just didn't track at all.
Yeah.
So I think sometimes when they would bring up backstory of a lot of these characters, I would be like, what?
Yeah. I think Sorkin had not quite figured out who these people were yet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Personally,
I think in season 2 he finds them.
And also maybe didn't adjust it with the actors.
Yeah. Personally, I think both of those things make sense, but I also completely understand where you're coming from in thinking that they don't make sense.
Yeah.
So I think like the CJ being an expert on polling thing doesn't make sense.
Yeah, actually, that doesn't make sense at all, because if she's an expert on polling, she probably understands the friggin' census.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's specifically the point that I don't understand. There's multiple points where Aaron Sorkin decides that a character doesn't understand something that they clearly would.
On the topic of secretaries, I feel like all of they're secretaries, right? Or are they assistants?
Assistants.
Assistant secretaries. It's fine.
Secretaries were assistants.
Okay, because I have a pitch.
Okay.
I just thought this is, a semi-regular segment where Mark is watching some other form of media and gets a dumb pitch for an idea for a different genre or form of media.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll be a segment with a theme song.
I would love a theme song. I think we should have more theme songs.
We don't have a name. We don't have an idea, but I've done it on multiple episodes.
Mark pitches a thing.
Boom, boom.
Here's Mark's fastball. Is it gonna be a slow ball?
So rude. So rude, and we should not make baseball references if we don't know them.
I mean, pitching, right? I think that made sense.
No, I think, I don't know if slow ball is a term.
Slow one.
I don't know. We shouldn't talk about
okay,
baseball.
whatever. Don't worry about it.
We don't want to offend the baseball community. We let just my pitch, because I thought that all of the assistants and secretaries were all written specifically quirky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They all just kind of have their own weird things going on in the background.
I mean, Margaret
specifically.
She has so many weird things, and they never stop.
They'll get weirder.
I love it. I loved her.
I love her so
Oh yeah,
much.
no, she's
Leah's
amazing.
assistant is always just ruining the mail system and can sign the president's signature. Like,
Yeah.
I love her. And Donna's weird too.
Yeah.
Whenever Josh and Donna start talking, Donna is always talking about something completely different.
Yeah.
She just gets an idea in her head and she's like, this is what we're talking about, even though something's happening.
Yeah.
And I want a show. It's like Mike Schur. Hey, Mike Schur, if you're listening, here's a free idea.
No, you
inspired
just
by
write
Parks
it.
and Rec is inspired by The West Wing.
Okay, well, here we
That's
go.
why Bradley
It's
Whitford's
called
on it.
It's called Secretaries of the Interior.
Oh my God, Mark.
And it's about all their assistants. All work, because there was that one scene where all the assistants were in the room talking to each
Yeah.
other
Yes.
about like who did what and
Yeah.
figuring it out. And I was like, I want to see this show.
Yeah.
I just loved it.
Oh my God.
Yeah, put it on after Superstore, NBC. I'd like to see it.
Hey.
Secretaries of the Interior. I think it's good. But yeah, that's my pitch.
And that was Mark's pitch. Amy, you had mentioned the CJ Danny stuff earlier. Do you want to talk about that?
I do not care about CJ Danny.
I
I think
CJ
there
Danny.
are a couple cute moments with CJ Danny.
I agree.
The goldfish is cute. I'm sorry, it's cute.
It's cute and funny.
love the
No, it's cute and
goldfish.
funny. I thought it was
Their first kiss, I love that scene. Allison Janney is brilliant in that scene. And Timothy Busfield isn't a bad actor.
No,
No,
I
he's
agree.
great.
You know, I didn't think it was bad. I just thought that when I saw that one scene with CJ and the what is it, CIA?
The Secret Service agent.
The Secret
Tina
Service
Toscano.
agent. I was like, these two
Yeah.
have a genuine chemistry that CJ and Danny did not have.
I think
I don't
CJ
think they
and
have
Danny
no chemistry.
do have chemistry. I think like that one moment was just like, wow, this is a very short scene, and there's
Yeah.
a lot of chemistry here,
Yeah.
and where the
And I
CJ
also
Danny
was
stuff
like,
has to build up.
if they became friends, or even like they talked, there was like I think it was also in the second to last episode, CJ says something about how Joey and I were talking.
Like Joey
And I was
Lucas?
like, let me see. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Joey Lucas and her were talking, and I was like, let me see. I would like to see these
Women.
friendships.
Yeah.
And not even just like the women. It's like these outer characters. Or even like internal characters. I would like to see their friendships beyond the people that they're constantly engaging with. Also, like, there was like one scene where like Danny knew who Charlie was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, why do you know each other?
From being around the White House, I think.
Yeah.
Oh yes, but like why? Like what
Well,
happened?
I do think that scene, they are way too casual, and like
Yeah.
they shouldn't
Yeah, that's
know
why I
each
was like,
other
they
as
need-
well
they-
as they do in that scene. But I do think it definitely makes sense that they know each other.
I didn't bump on it, but
I think they would recognize each other. I just didn't think that was like, why are you friends?
Yeah.
There were a couple times I was like, why are you friends?
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely.
And I just like wanted, if I'm asking the question, why are they friends? It seems weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And maybe you'll find out more in later seasons, or it just makes more sense. But I was just like, why are you talking? Or like, why did we not see CJ and Joey Lucas talking?
Yeah. I think some of those relationships are like answered later on, but also Aaron Sorkin is very much a writer of the here and now, and not so much, he's not concerned with backstory at all until he
maybe that's
actually
my
writes it, and I think it is a flaw with him.
yeah.
Okay,
So,
that
yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, he literally, with A Few Good Men, was like, who was the actor that, Amy, do you know the story I'm talking about? On A Few Good Men, during the play, the theatrical run of A Few Good Men, there was an actor who told Aaron Sorkin, like, yeah, can I get, like, asked him, like, can I get a little more of the backstory of my character and stuff? And, like, it might have been Bradley Whitford, to be honest.
I don't think so. I think I would know the story if it was Bradley.
It's from the podcast. It's from the West Wing Weekly.
Oh, maybe it is.
I've heard it like a couple other places, but I remember hearing it on the podcast.
Was it not Josh Molina?
No, it was a guess.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like Josh Molina, actually.
No. that like this actor came up to Aaron Sorkin, was like asking for backstory and stuff, and Aaron Sorkin was like, there is no backstory. Like these characters exist only as I write them, and that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like he is very interested in just the present day of whatever is being told. He is only interested in the story that is being told on screen.
Yeah.
That's it.
That makes sense with a lot of my problems
Yeah.
that I've had with this season.
I think most of the problems that you have with the show, Mark, like you personally, specifically, actually, can be explained by flaws that Aaron Sorkin has as a writer.
Yeah.
Sorkin's gonna Sorkin.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not like relieved, but I'm not like, oh, it's fine. I'm more just like, oh, that makes sense. And I am also a person who really enjoys like
Backstory.
I enjoy a complex world.
Yes.
That's why I love Pokemon.
Yeah, Aaron Sorkin doesn't care about world building.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, what do you think of Mallory, Mark?
Oh yeah, what do you think of Mallory?
That's Leo's
That's
daughter.
Leo's
who
daughter.
Sam's trying to date.
I thought the casting was great. I enjoyed her. Another moment where I was genuinely annoyed with Sam as a character was when there was a whole episode where they were arguing about school vouchers.
Yeah.
And at the end, it was just felt like it almost felt like magical that he was just like, oh yeah, I told him to argue. So he never explained to Mallory that he was arguing for the sake of argument's sake. And I hate that.
Yep.
I think that's so dumb.
That is Sam in a nutshell, baby.
And honestly,
In my opinion.
if Mallory was a real person, and I did enjoy Mallory as a character, I especially like that, like the episode where they went out. I liked that, like Mallory and Zoe had a relationship.
Yeah.
And like I liked that, but I
think
her
like
passion.
Mallory and Zoe having a friendship outside of the White House and stuff makes so much sense because like
Yes.
Jed and Leo have been friends for decades, so of course, and like they've spent holidays together as families.
And Mallory
stuff, so
getting
why
like,
wouldn't they be like those two have probably like grown up together?
Yeah.
yeah, and Mallory getting advice from Abby.
Yeah.
From getting from the first lady.
Absolutely.
It was like a moment where I was like,
You have an
oh,
itch.
this first lady's great. Yeah, I loved it. You have an itch.
Them.
Oh, I think that Mallory would have been like, you were just arguing with me all day for no reason.
Yeah, I would have been
and would have
so
been
pissed.
actually mad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would have been so pissed. And it felt like almost magical that she was just like, oh, you do like school vouchers.
Yeah.
I guess I can date you, even though you just spent an entire day emotionally manipulating me for your job,
Absolutely.
I guess.
Yeah.
And not even for his job, because like
Yeah, he didn't have to do
it
that.
gets in the way of his job.
Yeah.
He's literally taking time away from his job to continue arguing with her.
Well, okay. So, I mean, if nobody has any more thoughts, Valentina, Aimee, would you like to start doing our Grin Media reses?
Yeah, absolutely.
Then let's talk about it.
Grin Media Res is what we call the segment where we discuss the moments that made us grin the widest, that put the biggest smile on our face while watching it.
And we got a whole seasons of moments, so...
Oh yeah, we have plenty. Do you have yours, Mark? Do you want me to go first?
I can go.
Okay.
My moment is actually at the end of episode 17, the White House Pro-Am.
Oh.
Where, Jed and Abby are fighting.
Yes!
Oh my god, do we all have the same one?
Oh, that's not mine.
Oh,
I
okay,
just love
never
that
mind.
Oh,
moment.
me and you have the
I
same
think
one,
so.
Amy?
Oh, that's fun.
It's just that scene where the whole episode has kind of been like a back and forth through the staff,
Yeah.
and we finally see, and also like I mean before this we've seen Abby and Jed, but we haven't seen them like
Fight.
a lot of their scenes are around each other.
Yeah.
And this is the scene where they're going at each other, and just from the beginning, Abby walks in and is like, "Hey, pumpkin.
Hello,
Hey,
pumpkin. Hello,
sweetie.
gumdrop.
Hello, gumdrop." Like just so like, and so like smiling but mean.
Yeah.
And they go and they just start fighting, and you like get why these two are a couple, because they're both tiny but vocally impressive.
Yes.
He loses the argument.
Absolutely.
And I love the don't handle me, Jed. Don't play me, Abby. Ooh. It was, and
It's
I just
tasty.
love seeing Stalker Channing fight.
Yes.
Valentina, now that what's your Grin Media Res moment?
Okay, so truly my Grin Media Res is at the end of a proportional response when Bartlett is about to give this public address on TV, and Charlie finds it. He's looking for his glasses. Charlie speaks up a little bit and says like, "Oh, your glasses were there," or whatever. Charlie like solves the problem, and then later Leo takes Bartlett aside so that he can cool off before going live on TV and stuff. And that moment of friendship that they share, like that, they're just laughing at all of the ridiculousness that they haven't been able to laugh at during this very hectic week. And then it like cools Jed off again, and he's able to be the president again and not just be an anxious person. And then he walks back into the Oval Office and like says to Charlie like this whole thing about his mom, about how his mom was killed and everything. And then Jed says, "And if you would like to help us get these guns off the street, and we're trying to get these bullets off the street, and I'd love for you to help us," or something. And just that whole, like, it's like a 6-minute sequence between Josh walking Charlie through the Oval Office, seeing all the hecticness of this, of like what it happens right before the president goes live on all the networks, and then we have this moments of friendship between Leo and Jed, and then Jed comes back into the Oval Office and is the president again, and is his normal charming self, and has the composure again and everything, and officially welcomes Charlie into the staff. And that was my Grand Media Res. Those like full 5 or 6 minutes.
Can I point out something that I love from that moment?
Mm-hmm.
I love when Charlie asks, like, does this feeling ever go away? And then Josh is like, no. And then at the final episode, Charlie's like, final episode of the season, Charlie says, like, you're right, it doesn't go away.
It never goes away. I love it. Yes.
And then in real life, Josh would be like, "What the do you mean?"
Yeah.
What?
That's the moment that I fully was like, yes, I am on board with this show again. Yes, I can enjoy this again. Because it's not about politics. It's about people trying hard. And it just, everything I love about the show happens in those few minutes. Where we see people working hard at their jobs. And these jobs are, of course, incredibly difficult compared to any others. But, like, it's still, like, if you're working in sales at whatever company, like, you're still gonna have moments of stress and anxiety, and, like, that you're gonna snap at someone, probably. And, no, I think something that most of my favorite pieces of media have in common is that it's about people living their lives, usually under extreme circumstances. And these are extreme circumstances because there's only so few people that are the president and work for the president of the United States. But there's still people living their lives, and they still have those very small moments that are much more important than, like, the bigger moments that we see on TV and stuff. And yeah, that's it. I don't know. Okay. I'm getting emotional.
That's yeah. Oh no. I wish I could hug you.
I know.
Aimee.
Yes?
What is your Grin Media Res moment or moments?
Yeah, so I
because
had
we
to.
we shared one.
We shared the first one was technically the second one that we shared was the White House Pro-Am, but mine wasn't the whole scene. Mine was specifically hello pumpkin, hello gumdrop.
So mad. It's so petty. It's great.
Brilliant, and it's not the only time that will happen, and I love it.
Oh, good.
And my second one is kind of obvious. It's typical me. I smile every time that he does it. Celestial navigation, when Josh is telling the president what he did, when he's like, let me be absolutely clear, I did not do that. I did not do that, except yes, I did do that. And it's like, and also when Bartlett is fully like, who briefed the press, and then Josh was like, I did, and he was like, oh no.
Yeah.
That was just so funny. That scene I just find very funny, and it's peak Josh being ridiculous, and
absolutely, and like thinking very highly of himself when he shouldn't be.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
thanks so much for joining us. Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
You can follow Aimee on Twitter at Aimee in Tweets.
My name is spelled Aimee.
Oh, that's true. It's
not
spelled
A-Y.
like Amy Teagarden, not Amy Adams.
Who's Amy Teagarden?
Amy Teagarden?
I don't know who that is.
An actress. She was on Friday Night Lights and Prom.
We don't know.
The Disney
movie
Prom, and like I think Avalon High and a few other. Whatever. She's a person.
Aimee.
Yes.
In tweets.
You can also listen to her podcast, Talking to a Wall.
It's not this podcast.
It's very different from this podcast, but it's still
real
very
depressing.
good. Remember to rate and review this show if you like it, so that more people can can find out about it, recommend it to your friends. You can always
talk us up. Why not?
You can follow us at Twitter and on Twitter and Instagram at PLS Like This Pod. And all of that information you can also find in the description of this podcast.
Yeah. Thanks for listening.
Thank you for listening.
Please like this. Please like this. Please like this.